Alright guys, video 3. The topic is which conspiracy theory is so believable that it might be true. Posted by Shivas877. This one could be pretty good considering, there's just a million conspiracy theories out there. So it should be interesting to see what ones people think are the most believable. So let's get into this. That your phone's microphone is constantly hot and it's listening for keywords to target advertising. Most glaring instance where this happened to me was when I walked into a colleague's office. He had just gotten a standing desk, but one that goes on top of his existing desk rather than standalone model. That's important to note. I said, "Nice standing desk. When did you get that?" "Thanks, just today," he replied. That was literally all that was said about the desk. We talked about work-related stuff, and as I walked out and checked my phone, there was an ad on Facebook for that exact model of standing desk. I have never owned one, wanted one, or Googled one before, yet there was one on my feed. Tinfoil hat be damned, they listen in. See this one? Right off the bat, I believe it. I've had the same experience happen to me. I was at my, actually on a couple of occasions. The one, I was at my buddy's house and we were talking about weed whackers for whatever reason. And so after we finished talking, I had went home and went on Instagram because I don't have a Facebook. But I went on Instagram and they have the same thing with ads on your feed. And I saw a weed whacker ad, and I had never researched a weed whacker on my phone before or computer. So that was pretty weird. That was the first time it happened, and then the second time I was at my other buddies, and he had just gotten a refrigerator with a TV in the door. And I was talking about how cool it was and everything. And the exact same thing happened. Went home, went on Instagram, scrolling through my feed. There you go. A fridge popped up with a TV in the door. So yeah, that one I believe this 100%. Next one is Robert Kardashian destroyed evidence that would have convicted OJ. He was handed a Louis Vuitton garment bag by OJ's assistant right as OJ returned from Chicago. None of the cops paid attention to him as he walked away with the bag. When the bag theory was discovered a month later, Kardashian claimed to have lost it. I don't know. I never heard that conspiracy. I'd have to look into it more. But the whole case, regardless of that conspiracy, is it's fascinating with everything and how it seemed so stacked against him, yet he came out unconvicted. But I don't know. Maybe. Apple started the meme about AirPods being expensive as a marketing ploy. I don't really get this one. And anything Apple has came out with, whether it's computers, accessories, parts, anything they do is extremely expensive. So why would they all of a sudden now try and do this marketing ploy about the AirPods when the iPod, iMac, just MacBook, anything? They're always expensive. They're known to be expensive, so I don't see any benefit that Apple would get from doing this, but who knows? PETA is controlled opposition run by the meat industry designed to make animal rights activists look bad. What would be the benefit of that? Do people see PETA and see... Now, yeah, PETA's pretty wild with some of their antics that they do, but do they expect people to see PETA and get upset and be like, what, I'm going to eat some meat right now. F those people. I'm eating meat. I don't think so, but yeah, I don't think that's a good conspiracy. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you Googled Disney Frozen, you would get information about the movie and not websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. And this is another one I don't get. What benefit would Disney get from doing that? Specifically, if they want to try and prevent people from looking up whether or not Walt Disney's body was frozen. It's not like people are looking that up, finding out that Walt Disney's body's frozen and like boycotting him, not going there. Like, if anything, him freezing his body is more fascinating than any movie they've came out with. So, I don't know. I'd promote it. I'd want people to look that up. It's intriguing. Cops go on ways and leave random police sightings to cause people to slow without actually having to stay and check on people. I could see that. I mean, cops are pretty lazy, but I could see both. Some lazy cops would want to do that so they don't actually have to work and can focus on whatever else they want to do. But on the other hand, I know a couple cops, and they said they get a lot of extra money going to court from the tickets that they give. So there'd be a financial detriment to them to go and do that, because then they wouldn't be giving out tickets. So, I don't know. Depends if the cop's lazy or not. Michael Jordan's first retirement was actually a suspension by the NBA because of his gambling. I've heard this one multiple times. I recently just watched an interview with then DJ Vlad. I don't know if anyone watches DJ Vlad, but he had an interview somewhat recently, maybe a couple weeks ago, with Michael Franzese. He was high up for the Colombo Mafia family. I think one of the only people the only high-ranking person in a mafia family to make it out without ratting on people or snitching, or without going into what is that? Where they like protect you. But yeah, he was talking to Vlad about how he made money for the family, and one of the things was gambling and being a bookie and all that, and sports betting. And he was saying his partner kind of ran it. He was just involved. But he said, yeah, that Michael Jordan was a degenerate gambler, and that his gambling debts got so high that he couldn't pay him, which is kind of crazy to think about, because I could only imagine the amount of money Michael Jordan was making at that time. But anyway, they were so high, couldn't pay him, that around that time his father was murdered, and he was saying that was the cause of his father's murder, due to him not being able to pay back his debts. And the NBA came down and talked to Michael, saying, hey, obviously they knew what was going on. They said things are starting to heat up, and we don't want the public to find out that you have a horrible gambling problem, and you may be the cause of your father's death, because that would just be a horrible look on the NBA, having the biggest star, be like that. So they said, you need to take a year off until everything cools down. Once everything kind of fades away and kind of forget about it, then you can come back. And that's what he was saying. So I could see it. So the real reason Apple removed the headphone jack was to try and remove Square Pay systems as a competitor for Apple Pay. I don't know. I wouldn't be too surprised if that was true, but also I just feel like phones they're just getting thinner. People want thinner phones. People just want better technology, and most companies think better technology is the thinner the better, and so I just think that's part of the reason to beat competition, to be better than the competition. But I don't know. Snapchat worked with the FBI to popularize and secretly test and improve face recognition technology. We went from, wow, this is like magic, to this is totally normal. In a few years, there's no way that technology isn't being used by law enforcement. Probably should have said. Yeah, I can see this being accurate. I mean, I've seen pictures of Mark Zuckerberg, like pictures of him in his office, and if you look in the background on his personal laptop, he has the camera on top of the screen taped off with like a post-it note or something, so that he can't use it. And if someone with that amount of power is covering up cameras, it's to prevent something. And now it's not exactly like what this conspiracy is, but I mean they're hacking in, they're trying to see what you're doing, and yeah, government is all about trying to monitor us. I think. I guess that's just another conspiracy. So yeah, this one I for sure could believe in. But anyway, again, the end of the video. If you like the content, please comment, like, subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.